Sup nerds, I'm Tom.
I'm Wes.
Some games are really great because they're simple. And this game is very simple at its core, at its base rules, but it is so very tight in its execution that makes it kind of beautiful.
Before we get started, two things we just want to go ahead and get right out of the way. First off, this is a prototype for Into the Machine, so there may be some final tweaks and all of that before it actually hits final production, but we definitely got a good look at how this game works, how it plays, and how awesome it is. Second off, our channel is brought to you by GameToppers. That is the table that we film all of our games on. We play most of our games on. They are fantastic. If you don't have a GameTopper, definitely check them out. There will be a link in the description for you to do so.
So Into the Machine is, at its core, a worker placement game where you're going to be placing different types of workers, different levels, right? They're shapes based on the prototype we have here, circles, triangles, and squares, but they're different levels of workers that will activate different higher levels of spots. And all of these spots just to let you move things up and down these tracks, right? So you have circles and you have hexes on this one track. Circles want to go this way. Hexes want to go that way. And when hexes go that way and they fall off the track or the conveyor belt or the machine or whatever it's called, that's how you score and that's how you win. If you're the first person to get 2 hexes off to the side before anybody else gets a hex off, you win immediately. Other than that, it'll be the first person to get 3 hexes. And it's that there's one really big thing that I'm leaving out about moving up and down this track. And that is the fact that 2 pieces, a circle or a hex, cannot occupy the same space. So all of that moving is mostly leapfrogging over other people. So it's very strategic and very tight every time you go to move.
So that is the core, what you're trying to do in the game is move your circles down the track, so then turn them into hexes, and then move your hexes back on the track the other way to score like end of game. It's not really victory points, but to get to the end game condition. However, the rest of the board is all worker placement spots where you will be both moving these pieces on this track, but also upgrading your pieces into better pieces or adding more pieces to this track. And that's where the really fun part of the game comes in, because it's worker placement. And there's, like Tom said, there's different levels. The circles are the cheapest, the lowest level worker. And then you go to your triangle level workers, and then your squares are the best. But there's not really space blocking like you see in some worker placement games. However, you must beat out the next highest stack of pieces in that place. So the first person to go to a place puts 1 piece. The next person that wants to go there will have to put 2 pieces there. The next person will have to put 3 pieces there, and so on. Just goes on and on until those pieces clear out. And you could even go to the same place twice. So if I put 1 piece there, and then it goes all the way on the table and no one else has gone to that space, I can then put 2 pieces there. But it even goes one level further, because if you have 2 adjacent cards, either side by side or above and below, you could actually go to the space between them to reactivate both of those cards. So you can really set up, like planning ahead, okay, I want to go here and I'm going to go here so that on my next turn I can go between them and then trigger both of those to either move super far or get just a whole bunch more pieces, or get to a point where you can like slide a piece up the track and then upgrade it to a better piece. It just, the way it all works together, it's like a well-oiled machine, which is thematically.
So he's talking about like the worker placement spots are cards, and you have a small deck of, it's really not even a deck, it's 4 or 5 cards-ish. Is that a deck? At what point does cards become a deck? How many in a stack do you need to become a deck? So you're going to take the level 1 and you're going to shuffle them up, level 2, shuffle them up, level 3, shuffle them up, and spread them out. So there's variety there in every game about which cards are adjacent to each other, but also, yes, that adjacency is a really big thing because you're going to be putting pieces out, right? You can take a turn. It's kind of like burning a whole turn to bring all your pieces off the board and back, because you're going to run out. I mean, you kind of have a lot of workers compared to other worker placement games. This is one where I feel like you hit the ground running with a large amount of workers, and you can do a lot in your very first round of the game before you're forced to pull them all back. But when you have a lot of pieces out there, right, you're going to be like, I want to go to this spot again, but again, I already have a guy there, or I already have, especially the squares at the bottom, the highest level pieces are super strong and they're super hard to get. So you might be like, well, I really want to go do this action again because I think that would be super powerful, especially the way that the things on the machine are. but I'm going to have to put 2 squares to do that action. Maybe think that, the machine will still be set up good enough for me to do a burn action and then get all my pieces back and then put my guy out there. But I did spend all this time putting all these guys out there, so now all of the in-between spots, there's a lot of in-between spots that I could do right now, So, like, it's that balance of, well, obviously, I'm just flooding the board. There's so many pieces out there. It makes every action more difficult to do, but then it makes the combo actions, you're unlocking them, which is actually what it calls in the rules. If you have a worker in one card and then you have a card on an adjacent card, you have unlocked that. And you can only do that once. I can't if I put a circle in between 2 cards, I can't then go and put 2 circles in between that card.
But even though you're not blocking either. So if I have unlocked a between spot and Tom has also unlocked that between spot, even though if I go there once, I can't go there again until I recall those pieces. That does not block Tom. So that's the blocking really comes in, and that when I make that spot more expensive for me, I also make it more expensive for everyone at the table. So you definitely have those spots where you're like, I really want to go here, but I need him to recall first. So how long can I wait to make that happen before I just need to either burn the pieces to go there or wait him out till he recalls?
And another thing that we think is really cool is the idea that there's 2 win conditions. The first one being if you're the first person to get 2 hexes, into the scoring zone before anybody has done any of the hexes, which I believe is probably a very rare occurrence. Yeah. But as we were discussing, it's probably there just to counterbalance the idea that somebody could just be incentivized to just upgrade to get all the really good pieces. And then while other people were taking slower actions to move their machines along to get the circles upgraded to hex and start moving them back, now they have like all their squares and all their triangles and they're doing bam, 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 much bigger actions because in order to upgrade your pieces from circles into the triangles or the squares, which are arguably like the much better pieces. Like, there was even a time halfway into the game where we were like, these circles suck now.
Yeah, at the beginning, they're great. You're putting them out everywhere. And at the end, you're like, I don't really want to take these actions anymore.
But the way that you upgrade those pieces is on the machine. You have to put them onto the machine and then sort of sacrifice them. And the further down they move onto the machine, the better that you can sacrifice them into. So it is this balance of like, look, I put them out on the silver space and then I moved them all the way over here.
It's almost a hex.
Yeah, I know.
Do I want to get rid of all that movement that I've made, all that effort I've put moving it up? But I could turn it into a square, which would help me move another piece faster and better or stronger or whatever. The other thing that you get when you upgrade, and there's a few other spots on the board that will give you this as well, are the power cards.
Yes.
Which are definitely not to be slept on because they're essentially just an additional action you can take. And most of the cards are also represented out on the board. But because you can play an action card before or after you place your pieces, you can essentially get 2 turns like in a row back to back. So if you get, like, let's say you've unlocked a middle space between 2 different cards that let you move, and you also have a card that lets you move, hypothetically, you could move a piece 5-6 spaces on the track in 1 turn, which is a massive swing. And then when you add into that the fact that you can leapfrog pieces, you could move like halfway across the track in 1 really big power turn if you line up all the spots just perfectly.
Especially with max players, things can get real tight, real fast.
Tight, yeah!
This is honestly really great for all ages. Like, it's got cute art. I think the box says
10 and up?
Yeah, 10 and up. And I think that you could probably even go a little bit lower than that with some kids who've played a lot of games, especially because there's really a lot of hidden information, right?
Yeah.
So you can like help play on teams or whatever. But like, again, the rules are so straightforward and like the symbology is really simple. Like
it's got a good reference card system too for your symbology, even though all the cards, there's no language text on the actual board. The reference cards and like none of the abilities are too crazy where like it's confusing. Like you read the card and you know what it does.
Yeah. I mean, again, aces all around. Really recommend this for people who like simple, elegant games that are really tight.
Yeah.
Like, again, you could win or lose based on 1 turn. See this? Yeah. See this? Blue just won. Red literally one space away.
And if that all sounds good to you, there will be a link to the Kickstarter campaign in the description box down below. Just below that will be a link to our channel sponsor, GameToppers. We already talked about them. We talk about them in every video, but we absolutely love them. And if you don't have one, get one.
And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored. Bam!
One of the things we have not covered yet is on this track, two pieces cannot occupy the same space.
Well, we absolutely have covered that.
We have covered that. Okay. I don't listen when Tom talks.